Hello and welcome. This is Business Incorporated coming to you live from Lagos, Nigeria. I'm Chimeze Obi Iwago. On the show today, UK Prime Minister Theresa May rattles the market with a call for early elections to be held on June 8. World Bank IMF spring meeting begins in Washington, D.C. amid geopolitical tension. Plus, the International Monetary Fund agrees to pay out a $320 million second tranche of Tunisia's loan program. Let's get started as markets in Africa have resumed trading today after the long Easter holiday. The Nigerian stock market and the Johannesburg Stock Exchange started the trading week on the downside. The all-share index was down 0.34% at intraday trade, while the JSE was low at 1.08%. The market in Egypt was upbeat at intraday, trading higher by 1.15% at 13,116 points. In the Middle East, Dubai's stock market rose sharply in a broad-based rally, but others were sluggish, with Saudi Arabian banks mixed after first quarter earnings announcement. The Dubai index gained 1.02% at intraday, rebounding from near technical support on its March low of 3,435 points. Abu Dhabi dropped 1.25%, however, because of a 2.3% fall by telecommunications firm Etisalat as it went ex-dividend. Qatar's index was down 0.15%. Commercial Bank of Qatar lost 1.4% after reporting a 66.7% drop in first quarter net profit to 91.2 million riyals. Saudi Arabia's index slipped 0.20% as Al Wahal Bank fell 1.4% after reporting a quarterly profit of 324.0 million riyals, down from 511.5 million riyals a year earlier. And in Europe, investors have continued their watch on the tensions between North Korea and the U.S. and as European monitors criticize Turkey's referendum. Let's bring in my colleague in Frankfurt, Conrad Busen, to talk to us about all of this. Good afternoon, Conrad. Good to have you back after the long Easter holiday. Now, it's the first trading day after the holiday, and the British Prime Minister, Theresa May, has come up with what a lot of people would describe as a shocker, calling for early election to be held on June 8. How is the markets in Europe reacting to this, plus the geopolitical concerns?
Well, like everyone else, people on the markets were very surprised by the announcement of the British Prime Minister for call for snap elections. So it might not come as a big surprise that this contributes to investors' desire today to search for safe haven investments. Gold is in demand. German government bonds are in demand, so that the average yield of all German government bonds calculated together is down in negative territory again. Equity prices are down. Here in Germany, the German share index DAX is down around about 1%. The FTSE 100, the British leading indicator for the share markets, is down around about 2%. Pound sterling, the currency of the United Kingdom, is up 1% compared to yesterday. Quite obviously, as one trader puts it, whom I talked to here, the Brexit trade is easing somewhat because, of course, the announcement of Theresa May to demand and have snap elections in the United Kingdom has the potential to weaken the case for Brexit. Since the referendum about Brexit last year, so many Brits who voted in favor of it are sorry about this. There's a lot of remorse among British voters. And also since, last June, the push for populism worldwide was so big with the election of Donald Trump, with what we saw in Turkey, etc. All this might make more Brits to vote at the upcoming election in favor of a weaker Brexit, at least.
Well, I guess the markets have a lot to chew concerning global development. Well, let's look at what the U.S. President Donald Trump is doing there today. He will sign an executive order on Buy American and Hire American directives. I just wonder what this is all about. Now, is this a concern for companies in Europe?
Yes, of course, it's a concern for many companies. But let me also tell you, since Donald Trump, got elected, it also has become clear that things are not always as simple as he likes to put it. Take the German car makers, for example. Many of the cars that are sold in the United States under the brand of German car makers like BMW are actually made in America. BMW produces so many cars in North America, in the United States, that it even exports cars from the US to other countries. So the question is, what's made in America, and who will be really hit by announcements like the one that Trump is signing today? Another factor we have to consider here, since his election, Mr. Trump has shown about turns in many of his policies. He's been flip-flopping a lot on his political positions. So despite what he signs today, there is, of course, a potential that things in the end will not turn out the way they are, formulated today.
Well, I guess a lot of companies out there, particularly those in the U.S., will be ready to deal with all of that. Now, talk us through some of the earnings reports investors are focusing on today in your markets.
Most of the companies reporting earnings are American companies, the most important one at least. Germany and Europe always comes with their earnings report slightly later than the Americans. So Goldman Sachs, for example, the earnings report is a strong driver today. The bank managed to come in with a net profit for the first quarter 80